Well, we return today with all eyes on a pretty friendly draw on paper for the Champions League quarter-final. We've also got what the media expect to be a top-of-the-table clash against Vissel Kobe. But coming into this one, we have lost our first league game of the season, and unfortunately, there's still no sign of any transfers. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 38 of this head coach story with me, Daniel. We are back today for our Champions League quarter-final against Port, a side that we would expect to beat from Thailand. We're going to play the first leg, hopefully get an unassailable lead before facing Vissel Kobe, who along with us were one of the favourites for the title in pre-season. We'll hopefully then be able to rest people for the second leg because it's a busy month and our squad is getting thinner and thinner. We've had more sales and departures since you were last here, and no sign of anybody being signed to the club. And that is despite the fact that we have got a lot of money left after some of the big sales this winter. We've also, as you can see from the team news today, got both of our brand new signings that have come in this summer, both unavailable for this fixture. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on and whether we can bounce back from our first league defeat of the season, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let's go and start by having a look at the transfers because we're not that far into the season, but there's only 4 weeks of the window to go and there's no sign of anyone coming in. There is a lot of surplus money, both on the wage and transfer budget, as you've seen there, but all we've seen since the last episode is the completion of most of those deals that we saw in the last episode. Offers coming in for lots of players, they've all moved on. Daiki Watanabe, third choice right wing back, he's moved on to Osaka's reserves. We've also got Nico Takahashi, who was our backup left back. He's now left the club. He's gone to Yokohama FM, who we're playing a week or two. Genki Ishii was one of the best young players at the club. He's gone off to Urawa Reds and will continue his development there. And Yu Ikeda, not quite so good, but he's gone out on loan as well. So, bottom line of it is, a lot of players are leaving the club and nobody is coming in. There's no offers. There's not been one since the last episode. And I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that the old gremlins are creeping in when it comes to the football manager, director of football. Let's have a look at the schedule though, because you were with me for the last 16 clash in the Champions League. We've played 3 league games this season. They've all been pretty tight and unconvincing. We've picked up 2 wins. We've got on the board, but we lost a disappointing one last weekend. Against Gamba Osaka, we won by 2-1. A late Suzuki penalty after Ishida equalised. We were the better side, but we got pegged back on the stroke of half time. And in the end, we did pretty well to win it. Against Cerezo Osaka, we won 1-0. Ishida scored a first half goal. Sakuragawa got injured. We managed to hold on thanks to a good goalkeeping display. And away at Kyoto last weekend, Araki picked up an injury. We just didn't look great, let's be honest. The goalkeeper had a good game, despite the fact that we were already 2-1 down. And if you look at the stats overall, we were thoroughly beaten, and we deserve to be as well. We're at this awkward stage now where we've got loads of games coming up in the next 2 months. We've had league fixtures cast aside for loads of cup games during this month, and that means next one in the league, we've got 8 games in 4 weeks. We're playing every Saturday, Wednesday. It's very difficult, but we've not got a big enough squad to compete. And you add to that the players that are remaining here, and I look at some of those key first teamers, if we get the general info up, Wade is 33, Watanabe 31, Zaruki's nearly 30, Hainan is 31 and declining physically. Both of the fit strikers at the moment are over 30, Kostic the same. We are struggling to keep this team fit because there's not a lot of depth and there's not a lot of legs. And that is going to be a problem for us if there aren't no additions. I'm hoping before we get to that run of league games in April, there will be some signings before deadline day. Because if not, I think we're in trouble and I'll be starting to look for a move away, which is a shame because we're a few signings away here from being able to compete for trophies. But let's go and worry about our first game of today. We're away to Port in a fairly friendly Champions League tie. We have mentioned, of course, and we've discussed it in the comments too, we didn't realise when we first came in, but we're aware now, this competition doesn't match up until the final. So it's split between East and West. And that means that both us and Vissel Kobe have got tie opposition. We should both reach the semi-final, where we'll battle it out to play, I presume, one of the 3 Saudi sides. But let's go and get through the tactical meeting. Let's see what team we can put out. Because again, the 2 games a week continues. And I feel I've got to go strong. There's a couple who are missing out because they got knocks in the last game. You can see Leader and you can see Iraqi just not fit. So we're going to make some decisions. It's going to be a tough one. And we'll be back in a minute to run through it. Because again, 2 games in 3 days. And if we don't finish the job today, we'll have to go strong next week as well. Let's see what we can scramble together. Well, I'll be honest with you today, we have reached a stage where there are players on the bench for the sake of it, albeit an expanded bench in the Champions League, but we've got a winger from the youth team who's never going to feature. We've also got a couple of players with knocks. We've got a youth player who's not quite fully fit. But I've tried to go as strong as possible without taking silly risks, and what that means, because of the injury at left wing back and the fact that Takahashi has been sold, is that we've had to change the goalkeeper so Filip Kostic can come in. And that's part of the problem with not having the depth with players like Takahashi, who aren't stars, but are useful squad players being sold. Yasuda has come in for the injured Iraqi. We're stuck with the front 2 because Ishida up front played nearly 300 minutes in the last 2 weeks. And with the other striker down, I can't afford to lose him as well. Watanabe drops out for Asada. And we've also gone for young Aguchi in goal. But otherwise, we're as strong as we can be. I've not taken silly risks. I've tried to stay strong. But ultimately, we are running out of squad depth. Matsuo's not that fit on the bench. Leader and Handa shouldn't really be there. We've got a winger we can't use. We've got a striker who's young and not very good. And not very fit either. I mean, it's a bit of a shambles overall. But this is the 11 in full. It is Aguchi in goal with a back 3 of Asada, Ademfal and Wader. Mitoma and Kostic, the deputising wing-backs with Hainen and Zaruki in midfield. And then Yasuda behind Suzuki and Tabakovic up front. And my only hope today is that we can find a way to dominate this side and get it done within an hour. Because if we can then rest 5 for the weekend rather than having to bring on superstars. So let's go and head into the first half and hope we can do the job. Well, it's the Champions League quarter-final. Not really an ideal time to be handing out squad numbers. We did have a brief look at this side in the last episode. We saw they've got 2 or 3 very good players and their greyed out ones are sort of average standard, probably like our backups and some of our best youngsters. But let's go and see how we get on. We should be favourites. We should be winning. But there's complacency in the team and it's 2 people who wouldn't be starting if it wasn't for injuries at the club. Yasuda is now motivated and I want a performance from him. With Filip Kostic at 35, you should know better, my son. Into the first half, I need a win. And I need this tie done. Because if we can't rest players next midweek, I really don't know what we do. I think we're in quite big trouble. There's a free kick about 30 yards out for Zayn and Zaruki. Who can he find? He's got a real chance here, Ramis. Good corner. Oh, good save. Tipped away on the rebound from Wader as well. Meant to say good free kick into the corner, but you can gloss over the first half of the sentence and put it together yourself. Rami Zaruki is on the corner as well. Can he find a head at the back post? Tabakovic up. Beaten to it by the keeper. Kind of relying on the height and physicality there. And so far, it's not had a big impact. As with 15 gone, we're dominating the stats, but we've not had great chances. We've not had a lot of the ball either. As Suzuki, the star man, gets it up front to Hainen. Still homegrown at the club at 32, still scoring big goals. We need it tonight as Asada. Over halfway unopposed. They're sitting very deep when they lose it. Tabakovic finds Kostic. Where's that delivery? Has a brilliant cross on him. And that one deflected behind off the front defender. Almost into his own net. Is into the side netting. The corner will be taken by Zaruki. Please find a better delivery. Up to the back post. Tabakovic there. Headers over the bar. I still don't think he scored this season. Just double check. Oh, he's got one. One in the Champions League though, so not in the league. It's been a very poor start for him. And now Yasuda's got a knock, a calf strain. I can't risk it. Half an hour gone. We can't pick up worse injuries. I either go for Matsuo, who is a natural attacker, has got finishing ability, or I go for Agawa, who's a bit more of an all-round midfielder. I think we're going to go Matsuo. It's a risk, it's not an ideal scenario, but it's a rare chance for him to come in and shine, and having that extra goal threat and finishing threat might be just what we need. As Kostic takes a free kick, Ademfal down. What are you doing, Tabakovic? It eventually deflects in. Mitoma with a shot from the edge of the box, takes a nick off a defender and beats the goalkeeper. But Tabakovic had it 3 yards out and played it all the way back to the edge of the box, took no risk himself. Gotta watch this again. Goes into the back post, knocked down. Look at him there. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and turns all the way back. They're probably a bit unfortunate with what happens to Matoma's shot there. But in the end, we get on top, we get the lead at half time, and now we've got to build on it. We need to get a second, we need to get a third. I won't feel confident unless we're at least 2 up, to be honest with you. But the way we've played, we've not created that many openings, and we're getting to the stage where people are going to have to be rested. And now it can only be 4 because of Yasuda's knock, as Hainan chips it forward to Zaruki. Would be a really good time to score, but it's backwards again. The safe option being taken. There's a switch on, but again, just goes back to Wader. And he plays into a Dempfal. Finds Asada, making his way back. Good ball to Tabakovic, please. It's straight at the keeper. What is wrong with you, Tabakovic? I don't understand it, I've got to be honest, but he's going to come off now. We're going to switch Suzuki over, and we're going to put Ishida on through the middle. We're also going to go for a rest for one of the defenders. A Dempfal, good natural fitness. Not so much for Wader. Do I bring on Watanabe or do I trust Toyoda? I think I'm going to trust Toyoda here, and I'm going to put a Dempfal to the right. We're also going to take off both midfielders, but then who for? Because Yasuda would have dropped in. We're going to go Agawa, who will replace Hainan, who's definitely the worst of the two physically. We could do with resting Zaruki, but the only options are more centre-halves, which will mean knackering out a Dempfal. We could put Kostic or Matoma in, but we don't have any backup wing-backs of a level. Can Kamiya play there? A little bit, but that is desperate, to be honest with you. Rui Leader, I don't really want to bring in. I want to keep him fresh. And Araki can only play up front, so we're a little bit stuffed at the minute. We're going to make those 3 for now. Maybe we can put Matsuo there. I'm not sure if he can play wing-back. I think he could from my memory. So I'll have a look in a few minutes' time because Zaruki's struggling. But at the moment, we've got to worry about holding on to our lead. If we throw this away, we're going to have to go strong next week. And that's going to be a big problem. Oh, seriously. It's 1-1. It's a disaster. And now I've got to take him off just because he's tired legs. Matsuo, I think, yeah, he can play left wing back. So we're going to go Kostic in centre midfield. They're better that way round. We're going to go for Zaruki replaced by Matsuo, a left wing back. And then number 10. I still don't really have a great option, do I? I'm going to go for Araki, I think. He could play number 10 pretty decently. Can either of the others do it? Suzuki a little bit again. Ishida a little bit again. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you can't see now that we're struggling with squad depth, then you never are director of football. You have got to find me some signings to help out. As it's a free kick, 25 yards from goal, maybe slightly more for Kostic. Can he produce a moment of magic? The experienced Serb. Goes for the shot, it's over the bar. Didn't really look like threatening the target. 10 to go. And it's still 1-1. As with 5 minutes remaining, we've got another free kick, but we've not looked like scoring recently. Toyoda heads over the bar. It stays level. I mean, I still feel confident we'd win the second leg, but look at what Vissel Kobe have done. That is the difference when everyone's fit, although we might lose this yet. Hang on a minute. Headed away or half away, and Araki hacks it downfield, but we've got a chance to counter. This would be an epic way to nick the game. Agawa into Suzuki. Get forward, there's 15 seconds left. Kostic has got a man over. Over the top to Ishida, he's in! Ishida! Is he onside? Please, please, please. No, he's not. We should beat them at home. We should get through, but this is a real problem because we now can't rest people for a game. Vissel Kobe have got through already. And we're making hard work of this. But again, I look at that game. How much stronger would we have been if we'd not lost Takahashi? It's simple little things like that. Yasuda's now out for a month. What is the director of football doing? We struck gold at the start with Azumi. Sean Holmes was a bit worse, but this guy, he's not doing anything. I don't understand it. The squad planner looks okay in central areas, but there is a clear deficit at wing-back. There's 2-star there. There's 2.5-star there. They're the weakest areas of the team. You've got loads of money left. Go and do something. We're back to the frustration of FM23. And now, with a few days to go until Vissel Kobe, they're 6-2 up on aggregate. They were probably resting people. we're going to be in big trouble. We'll be back in a minute to play the game, but this is turning into a disaster. And don't forget, we've got to finish in the top 2 of the league as well. We can't be doing no back-to-back defeats. Well, I don't want to risk getting too excited and making myself look silly here because we've got another wing back injured. We've got our fitness test, which won't be great for this game. But for the first time in about a month, we have got the message that says offer made. And the player is called Kato. Please be a wing back and please be good. Let's have a look at him. He's a centre forward. 1.5 million for a 30-year-old striker. I've got 5 strikers. I don't need any. What the hell are you doing? We don't need a striker. You're supposed to be working from the squad planner where both striker positions are the strongest in our team. You are an absolute clown. You're supposed to have the best attributes of anyone we've had. You're supposed to be professional. You're supposed to be sticking to the plan. I mean, he's a good player. He's a good forward. He'll help us out. There's no doubt about that. But why on earth is that your priority? Sort out the positions we've got no players and then worry about your exciting ones. He's still not as good as the youngster Ashida. He's not as good as Tabakovic if he ever plays to his potential. It really doesn't make sense as a deal, but either way, we have got mercifully a few players back fit, Handa and Leader, the 2 wing-backs who we need, and Araki who can play number 10. But of course, we've got to play again on Wednesday, and we're not yet through in the Champions League, so we'll have to go strong for that one. That means for this game, we're going to have to be careful. We know how good this side is. So let's go and get our lineup sorted. Mitoma and Yasuda unavailable. A few changes needing to be made. We'll be back in a minute to run through our 11 for this big game at home to Vissel Kobe. Don't forget, we are the 2 pre-season favourites for the title. Well, I've done what I can, but if I'm honest with you, this squad is a ticking time bomb now. We have got Bergson back in goal to meet the foreign rulings. We've dropped out Kostic this time. That is because both Leader and Handa are back as the wing-backs. The back 3 is the same aside from Watanabe, who is in for Asada. Same midfield too, Araki back as the number 10, and Ashida returns up front alongside Tabakovic, who has not got going this year. If we look at the bench though, there are bigger problems. Matsuo is in as a backup wing-back because we haven't got anyone else. And then Araki is in as a backup number 10 because we haven't got anyone else. So it's not just poor players, it's not just unfit players. These people are out of position too. Let's go and get through to the big game against Vissel Kobe. And I'll be honest with you, if we manage to win this one, I consider it a bit of a miracle. Anything other than a defeat is a fabulous result. Well, into the first half we go, having had the chat to the lads to encourage them. Let's see what team Vissel Kobe are putting out. It's a pretty good one, if I may say so. They've got a couple of players that have caused us problems in the past and a couple of very good foreign defensive players. So let's just see how we get on. They won the league at Akansa 2 years ago. They were second place last year and pretty good. And now our job is to try and match them this time. We're keeping an eye on those teams at the top, but we're under pressure. We've got to try and get up there. As Tabakovic from the corner loses the header. And if he's not winning those, quite frankly, what is the point of him being in a team? As Handa gets away down the right. I mean, even the new boy Sakaragawa, before he got injured, looked more of a threat. As the ball falls for Hainan in midfield to Araki. Just over the bar, a cracking effort. You know what? We're giving it a go here. Fair play to them. It's not been a brilliant start to the season. We've not looked convincing really at any stage, but at the moment, we're just about clinging in there and doing the job. We've now got an injury, pulled knee ligaments to Ishida. Maybe the director of football knew something I didn't, because whenever he makes an offer for a player, it seems we get an injury in that position the very next game. I'm going to have to put Suzuki back up there. He's knackered. He's played loads more football than he should have recently, and he's in his 30s as well. But if we can't keep any of our goal-scoring threats fit, if we can't keep our wing-backs fit, then our attacking threat is virtually non-existent. It's been a good first half, but we've had no shots since that first highlight. And with a couple of minutes to the break, while they've had none on target, they're growing into the game, both with possession and shots off target. So let's get through to the team talk. Tell the lads the fans expect to win. Not sure why they do, because they shouldn't be winning this one. I will take a 0-0 right away to get the league table up, because even now, FC Tokyo have started so well. Their red card at the start here has really helped us. And it's going to be tight at the top again as Kawasaki with a free kick over the bar. I'm concerned. I mean, we're doing okay. We're putting in an effort. And considering we've just lost the best striker and our best star-rated player, Barzaruki, we are competitive, but we don't look like winning it. They've just picked up a key injury. We're going to make a change or two. I did want to take Tabakovic off, but I can't now. I'm looking ahead at what I can do. There's no option on the bench. I'm looking at every player on that substitutes bench and thinking, if I put you on this pitch now, you're going to significantly weaken us. So we're going to keep going for a few more minutes and wait until people can't run. And then we're going to make a decision because with just over 10 to go, I feel we've got to go for it now. Araki is going to be replaced by maybe his namesake based on where we are. Because I'm looking at the tired legs, I'm looking at the fatigue, I'm looking at the nerves. Matsuo is probably going to have to go left wing back unless either of these boys can do it, which they can't. So I'm going to put Matsuo on for leader on a yellow. I'm going to take Hanan off for Agawa. And I'm going to leave the other Araki on and just see how we go. It's not an ideal scenario at all. I'm very concerned. But we have got nothing beyond our starting 11 at the minute. It's an awful position to be in at the strongest club we've been at. And our director of football is causing me a real headache. He's going to have the biggest deadline day you have ever seen. But that might be too late. We might be out the Champions League and the League Cup by then. And we might be struggling in the title race. In the end, I'll be honest with you. I'm thrilled with that point. I'm really pleased in the circumstances that we didn't get beat. Yes, it's not ideal that we're not through in a Champions League. But we stay within 3 at the top of the division. We draw against one of the best sides in the league with a significant injury drought. And we've got another month out now for Ishida. That's him, Sakuragawa and Yasuda, all done for the rest of this month. Mitoma's going to miss both of the next 2 games, and we are down to the bare bones. We're bringing in tired players for tired players. And we're going to be heading to the youth team soon. But even then, most of the best young players have been sold, as we've seen in the last month. This is turning into a bit of a disaster. At what point do I look for a job? We're coming up towards the end of the European season. At what point do I go, is there something good about? Could we nick I know Valencia is a bit big, but could we nick a job? Say one that comes up near the bottom of Syria, one that comes up in the Bundesliga 2, the Championship, but ideally not with sides who are going to be unplayable soon because they're getting relegated. If that comes up, we might have to look because this director of football has spent a month doing nothing and is now doing nothing useful. As you saw from the bench today, they're not great, but we've got plenty of strikers at the club. In every other position, we're a little bit short. We've got a striker as a backup number 10, a striker as a backup left wing back. I think we could do with some more defensive players, mate. So we'll wait and see what the next 4 weeks brings. If it doesn't bring something great, we're probably going to have to look at moving. But the thing that's keeping me here, the caveat at the minute, is that we should win the second leg of that Champions League tie. And then we're 2 games from winning a continental trophy. It's a ridiculous situation. We're going to have to throw the League Cup. I hate to say it, but we cannot play our first team in that. We need to make sure everyone gets a rest. We've then got the reunion with Yokohama. And you know what? Depending on where the Champions League gets scheduled, I'm not sure where the semi-finals will go. Right, they go later in April, so it's fine. So the next episode we are going to be back for is what has to be a busy transfer deadline day. That is at the end of March. And in Yokohama, our former club at home, in the first game of April. I wonder what they're doing in the window. A lot more than us, let's put it at that. We'll be back for that one next time out. But if you did enjoy too, let's be honest, pretty boring draws, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Apologies for the lack of quality on the pitch, but this is back to the old head coach. We can't play that attractive football anymore. We've got to find a way to get results while we're severely depleted and our director of football isn't helping us. If you want to stay up to date and find out if he does before this transfer window closes, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We've got the big run to Christmas this week. We'll have an episode every day as normal from our 2 long-term stories. And then after a quick something different on Christmas Day, we'll be back to the normal schedule again. But this is going to be a busy month. I hope we can avoid the banana skin in a Champions League. I would expect us to be in a semi-final when we return, and I hope you'll come and join me to find out if we are. In the meantime, you can find the latest season of our Southend save up in the eye above. It has been an eventful one and we'll be returning with that tomorrow. There's also links there to the Twitch channel where we're live tonight and the football podcast too. But thank you very much for your support as always. I hope you're looking forward to the next one because this director of football, he has got to deliver. And at the moment, he looks pretty useless.